Good evening team, my name's Felix. I am an amateur endurance athlete. I'm a Sydney-sider that works in the tech industry. I'm 27 years old. I've been doing endurance sport for about 4 years now. I love cycling and I believe that as a cyclist I have a duty to the sport to make it as equitable and as inclusive as I possibly can. And I think unfortunately cycling is one of those sports that isn't that inclusive. In fact, it's actually quite exclusive. And so thinking about the reasons why it's so exclusive, well, socioeconomically speaking, it's the bike. The bike is a clear blocker. When we talk about buying a bike, it's really intimidating for newbies. I've been there. It's a really tricky challenge to navigate on your own without the prior knowledge. So I just wish there was someone that would have passed down that knowledge to make it just that little bit easier for me to break into the sport. Luckily, all the mistakes, or the vast majority of them, are behind me now, and I want to pass on the knowledge and mistakes that I've made in accruing my first few bikes. So in a 3-part series, what I want to do is share everything that I've experienced so far, and give you in part 1 a bit of a background as to how I acquired my bikes. In part 2, I'm going to take you on a journey with $1,000 through Facebook Marketplace. We're going to go with a very set criteria of a bike and try and achieve that criteria with $1,000 AUD. And then in part 3, we're going to go and take 2,500 AUD and we're going to go and get ourselves a brand new bike, and the best brand new bike that we can find. And hopefully at the end of those 3 episodes, what I can do is hand over a guide that is a really clear guide as to what to look out for when you're trying to buy your first bike and what to take forward with you as you buy your next. And without further ado, let's jump into part 2. Okay then, this is exciting. So just jumping into a Canva doc now that I've roughly put together. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while actually, and I've quite missed just scrolling on Facebook Marketplace. It's literally the only thing Facebook is good for. But I've set myself a little cheeky criteria in my Canva doc. So first and foremost, we're going to look at the second-hand bike. I'm a new rider and I've got a budget of $1,000 Australian dollars. Even still, this is quite a lot. So I am optimistic that $1,000 is going to get us something pretty cool. So what I want is a carbon frame. I want a mechanical group set because, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to get electrical gearing for this price. So I want to go basics, mechanical group set, easy for mechanics to maintain and to find parts for. Aluminium wheels, because carbon wheels that are old, quite hard to maintain and service, and I just think, you know, stuff doesn't really go wrong with aluminium wheels that much. Like, you can find some pretty bomb-proof wheels, and hopefully we'll get a really good frame because we're going alu wheels. We want a really good looking bike. We want a classic brand, something that we're going to look really cool on. I love Cannondale, so we're going to search for Cannondale. Something that there's going to be an availability of parts of, and so I think with that being said, a Shimano group set is a pretty good bet. Let's jump into Marketplace. As you can see, I've already done some looking. I found a Trek Domane here, which, you know, isn't too far off something that we'd be looking for, to be fair. Anyway, let's get on with it. I want to find this Cannondale. I've already got a Cannondale in, so I'm a size 54. 54 is generally the medium size for men. Whilst we're on the topic of sizing, if you're a woman watching this video, just wanted to say first and foremost, thanks so much for tuning in and welcome to the sport. Admittedly, before making this video, I did not have all of the key context and knowledge in the differences between men's and women's bikes, but I have found this awesome blog post from my insurance provider, Velosure, that takes you through all of the key differences. And so if you're a woman who is on the market for a brand new bicycle, I would recommend reading through this awesome blog post just to understand the differences, and that will stand you in really good stead to not only get the product that you need, but also to think about things like a bike fitting, getting key componentry that suits your body specifically, and something to consider there is saddles. And so, yeah, have a read through the blog. The link will be in the description. And without further ado, let's continue. But I'll tell you what, I've just found an absolute beauty of a bike here. See, this is the frame that I am looking for. It's a 54 as well. This is a great bike. So, it's a Super 6. I don't see a lot of information here, to be honest. No sort of service history. New brake pads. That doesn't add value to the bike for me. I want brake pads to be working. SRAM gear hood covers. Again, hood covers are an essential part of the bike. I wouldn't say that that's a selling point. U-chain, cheers, deep dish carbon wheels. I don't know what the brand of wheels are here. I think from this white stripe, maybe they're DT Swiss, but I actually can't tell. And so whilst this bike aesthetically is very pleasing, look, cool bike, I would roll around Centennial on this, but it's over budget and I'm just not that keen. God, how long have we got this evening? I could do this forever. Alright, so look, let's narrow down this search. I want a 54 centimeter frame. Alright, now we're talking. Let's pop in some filters. 1,000 bucks. Ooh, see, right, this is the thing with Cannondales, and if you are a newbie that doesn't want to spend 1,000 and wants to spend 400, look at this baby. I mean, this, honestly, I reckon we can just stop this video now, and you can just buy this bike, because this is sick. This is a classic. I would put on my best map gear and sit upon this bike in Centennial Park very gladly. It's a 56, so it's a bit too big for me, but it's classic. It's beautiful. It's a really nice bike, and I think, oh, are they just selling the frame? Quite good condition, no dents or corrosion, scratches. I mean, they're commenting on the condition at least. They're not selling me a dream. I think this might just be the frame. Okay, that's alright. They acknowledge it's a nice frame, 350. Alright, this is a bit of a different prospect now, but a bike lover and a Cannondale lover, I'm sure they'll scoop that up. And that's, you know, something to just keep an eye out for, is like these beautiful old things, and they would do you a great first bike, but we just need to understand the condition of the componentry, because you know, they might not last you forever. Alright, let's bring this search to a close. I'm sure there's something out there. Let's stray away from Cannondale, because I'm getting a lot of CADs and a lot of synapses that are steel or alloy bikes. Carbon road bike, 54 cm, up to $1,000. Come on, work with me. Alright, Trek Madone there. That could be a shout. We might just return to this one. Trek Madone again, so you can see there's a few Madones coming up. Trek Amondas are also really awesome bikes. Alright, I'm gonna go Trek. There's Treks out there that would do us nicely. Alright, so this Trek is a carbon frame. Actually, let's just qualify it a bit more. I don't really have any information on the group set, and I would be expecting them to just swizzle this bike around and take a picture of it on the other side so I can actually see the group set. But let's give them a break. They, you know, may not be a seasoned rider. In my experience, I think people don't waste any time if you just send an offer across, and then you can talk through the logistics. I just think if you're really sure and keen on a bike, yeah, just make your intentions known and just say, look, I'm going to offer 500 for this bike, and the worst you're going to get is a no. And then you can say, alright, well, I do really want it, so what about, you know, 600, 700? But I think, like, as you can probably see, 1,000 is a lot of money. $1,000 is a lot of money, but what it gets you in bike terms, well, you're about to see with this specialized tarmac. Alright, look, this is a good looking bike. This is a classic looking bike. Let's have more of a look at this. This is actually very similar to the standard of bike that I first owned. We've got aluminium wheels, fits our criteria, but they're fulcrum wheels also. So these babies will be like hardcore, indestructible. Fulcrum are a very reputable brand of wheels. Whoever's been riding this is probably a regular rider. Mechanical group set. So mechanical just means not electrical. I really like the look of this because, yeah, as it says, 105, a mixture of Ultegra and 105. Okay, So when you buy a new bike, there's not going to be a mixture of, you know, 105 here, Ultegra here. It's either Ultegra or 105. And so if you get a mix of Ultegra and 105, it means something that was Ultegra dropped off and maybe they replaced it with 105. That's very fair for a bike of this age. Like, of course things drop off and you get things replaced. So that's just something to be aware of. No pedals here, so chuck on another 150 them for pedals. I haven't bought pedals for a while. And this could be yours. And look, what size is it actually? Doesn't matter. Let's just say it's 54. Although it doesn't actually say what size. Medium in size. I'd message Tracy and say, hello, what size is your bike? But I really like this one. So what I'm going to do is link that into the dock as a really solid option. Okay, let's find another really great bike for $1,000. Or Trecamonda carbon road bike, 54 centimeters. I really like the look of this. So I mentioned the Amonda before as a really viable option here. Interesting with this one, just note that the remoteness of the location does affect the price. So yes, this is $900, but old mate Alexander looks like he's in the middle of nowhere. So that's also an opportunity. You know, I would broaden your search area to 200Ks. And if you've got a car, look at driving out somewhere, and that's what I've done for both my current bikes and others. But let's get back to this bike. There is no description, and so from a reputability perspective, I would just sort of look at that and think, why no details? You know, give me more, because you're asking for $900 of my money. Alright, this is good because we've got a close-up of the cassette here. It looks in alright condition, which suggests to me that the rest of the group set is functioning okay. It's not the oldest 105 group set. These brakes are a bit of a dream to maintain. Really basic mechanical systems. Look, I really like the look of this. I think this is a bike that would serve me very well, but I think there's just a few questions that I need to run by Alexander. No, all good. All right, we've got two really great options here. To recap, we had $1,000 to spend on our first road bike ever, and so first and foremost, we had a look on Facebook Marketplace at the Specialized Tarmac Expert in Coleroy. It's a really nice looking bike, two lovely fulcrum wheels, a Tiagra group set, and looks nice and clean and shiny. It looks like a well-maintained bike and a noble steed. The next one, we actually beat our budget with a Trek Amonda, a carbon road bike, which had a 105 group set, which looks super sturdy. It looks like this bike would be a real noble steed and something that, you know, we can haggle with. And that's the thing with these secondhand bikes on Marketplace. You can totally haggle. Ask me any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Let me know if you've got any questions on buying a new road bike. I've been through this before. I've bought the wrong parts. I've made a dick of myself. I've not gone through the buying process slowly enough. I don't want you making the same mistakes. So here to answer any questions. And let's share knowledge in this sport. So now let's move on to someone who might have more of a budget and wants to buy something new